A poke comp consists of heroes that have long range damage, such as Bearer or even Widowmaker Hangzhou, who can stay far away from danger while dealing damage. And your goal is just to like poke them out, make them jump on you, and that's when you punish them. So with a poke composition, an example would be on control, where the enemy team has a bunch of tanks and they've gone to the point. You don't want to just rush straight in and start fighting with your poke comp because they're going to outbrawl you. So you want to spam them down with poke over time. And then once they're low enough, or once you've built ults with Pharaoh or something, then you can go in and play off the poke damage you've already done.
There you go. Cruise with a little bit of the Pharah knowledge bomb dropped from above.
Cruise
there you
clues.
Go. Cruise clues. Beautiful. I love it. It's great. Well, you know what? If you're a Hangzhou Spark fan, you're loving the result of that first map. They were able to take it 2-1 on Achilios. And what do you think, man? San Francisco Shock kind of struggling a bit on control, huh?
I mean, they lost their control in their last match versus the Titans pretty convincingly.
Yeah.
They lost on control in the 5th map against the LA Gladiators pretty convincingly. I really think that, so they've lost actually their last several control maps in a row now.
Pretty convincingly. It's
And
the theme I'm picking up here.
Yeah, I'm just not sold on using Smurf as a main tank on control. It doesn't really seem to synergize that well with Sinatra's more aggressive playstyle, but
hey, what do you
does? This guy.
It's Super, subbing in for Smurf at the main tank role. A player you and I were talking about during the break. We're like, hey, why don't we see him? And Rascal in for Architect.
This is really interesting to see.
Yeah.
Rascal coming in. He's played on some of these control maps previously. He's a player known for his projectile damage dealer, so shooting a lot of rockets as the Pharah.
Okay, Gschwind out, no smite in for Hangzhou Spark. They are making that change over at their main tank role. And so it's like we talked about with that team where Gschwind seems to provide the individual power on the main tank role, and No Smite provides the team skills. So we're going to Hollywood next.
I'm not sure what Smurf provides, though, to be honest. Like, seems to
I don't know.
Seems to not make the plays,
ability.
And also doesn't have the greatest synergy with the Shock. So
wow.
I am a bit curious as to what the San Francisco strategy is for using him.
The thing to keep in mind, though, is we are still early in the season, and we are going to see a lot of teams experiment with lineups, experiment with compositions. You still have to test some of this stuff on stage before you really know if you want to stick with it, right? So, and the Omnic executive in the limo, unable to drive himself despite the fact it's a 2-door car. Why does he just scoot over?
I mean, he's a robot. Don't they have robot cars in the future to drive themselves?
You'd think it'd just be self-driving. I never noticed. It's a 2-door car. What, is he in the trunk or something?
There's a lot of complaints to be had with this map.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, there you go. Those are pretty sick wheels, though. Yeah, look at that. In the trunk. I'm rich, but I'm in the trunk of my own car. I need someone to drive me to my office. That's the story of Hollywood in Overwatch. There you go.
So here's a question for you. What is Rascal going to do? So Hollywood is a map where normally we just see Reinhardt, triple tank, triple support.
Sure.
So why are you playing Rascal if he's just going to play Brigitte?
Because maybe you want to bring in the Pharah later. He is known for his Pharah. You can see that in Hollywood once in a while. I don't know.
If you're not going to use it on point A attack, where are you going to use it on this map?
Kick it old school, man. Point B defense.
Questions abound.
We'll see. Rhea, ooh, a couple kills on the Shock already. Spark coming up big in this first fight to Baby. Stays alive. That's a clean team kill for Spark as long as they can finish off Sinatra. And it looks like they will.
So they basically just ran at the cafe high ground, which is where they wanted to go, but Violet died on that approach, which completely nullified that fight. Usually you can't take such a linear approach, just charging forward to a choke point. We're going to see right now, they're going to see Rio's position there because he wants to see if he can catch out Violet again.
Right.
They're just going to go through the same approach.
Oh, going in. All right. Well, this knockup, they knew he was going to be there. Rascal down, though. Doesn't matter. Rhea kept alive. Spark was so ready to support that diva. Oh, now Violet down as well. I mean, that's the thing. Shock knew he was there. They tried to tunnel onto the diva, and they just got themselves trapped.
I don't know what
Plus out the Admiral Akbar, man. It's a trap.
They're just running into this twice in a row now. Instead of taking the outside approach, going to our right, they are left outside of that arch choke point and taking the high ground. So Hangzhou constantly has priority.
Now Godsby's got a ton of charge on the Zarya. Nearly has the ultimate too. Hangzhou Spark coming into this next defensive fight with all the tools they need. Keep this defense rolling. Violet down already. A Fire Strike takes him out. This is disastrous for Shock. They have to fight another 5v6.
I mean, this is disastrous because they're losing fights, and Hangzhou doesn't have to use ultimates, so they're just getting a bigger and bigger bank. And the thing is, they can't contest this.
No Smite gets stunned, but he's going to go in anyway. Rascal is going to run right over them. Man.
This is terrible shot calling from the Shock. So their Zenyatta dies, remember. Zenyatta has no way, because he's very slow, to get to the rest of the composition.
Right.
So when San Francisco Shock goes all the way around the point, the Hangzhou Spark are like, well, we don't have to worry about that Zen. He's never going to get to you. So we have a free 6 versus 5.
You just run into
We just run at him.
Why not? Yeah. All right, well, Shock have regrouped. Now they're coming in with some ultimates. They've used a lot of time out of their time bank already, though. They need to win a fight right now, and Rhea back in position again. Oh, they're not going through security, though. So Rhea needs to rotate around. Looks like it's going to be a high guard attack, trying to knock Spark off of that second level, but it's just going to be the grab. Tossed in there. Self-destruct. They've got him bottled up. And he kills out of that one. Gets Choyabin out of his mech, at least. That's already bad for Shock. They lost both of their tanks. And this is just a massacre, man.
Shock used all 3 of their support ultimates right there. Just layered them on top of each other in that hallway. But because they were trapped there was not really a way for them not to take huge amounts of damage.
I mean,
Shock
have basically one last fight to try to take point A, and if they don't, this is going to be one of the strongest defenses we've ever seen on Hollywood from Spark.
Hey, Super's going to have the Earth Shatter of his life.
Rhea back in position again. Let's see if he can get him. There's going to be IDK coming in with the sound barrier. Gets it on pretty much everybody. On everybody, in fact. And now Spark having to wait. Shock waiting out that sound barrier, letting the shields go away. That's smart. Super now has the Shatter ready to go. Spark looking to jump down on top of this. One tick taken already. So Spark looking a little bit hesitant now. Godsby does have the grab, though. They're going to drop it in. Choyabin, nothing with the Graviton Surge. Now the grab. There's the charge coming through. No Smite's going to get Rascal. That's a 5v6 for Spark now, but no Smite down. Super taken out soon to follow, though. It's become a brawl on the point. No kills out of that self-destruct, but Spark slowly but surely whittling away the members of San Francisco Shock. They're into the cafe, but it's closing time. Spark shutting the door on the possibilities of Shock taking point A. That's going to be it. A full hold for Hangzhou Spark. They only gave up 1 tick to the Shock.
If I didn't see the colors on these teams, I would have guessed this was, the Shock was last week's Spark, and the Spark were last week's Shock.
I don't know, and any given evening, it seems like at the Overwatch League, this stage, so back and forth between so many teams here.
That was truly awful from the Shock. They didn't respect anybody's positioning. They didn't seem to have any idea what they were doing on their approaches. They wasted a ton of time running around the point at a player disadvantage.
I mean, that was like my plat games. It's like,
it was
let's try going left. Let's try going right.
I'm really confused. I don't know what Rascal is supposed to do in this composition when they've typically been playing Architect on that Brigitte.
Yeah, I don't know. We will see if Shock is able to really turn this one around, but they're going to need to get a Herculean hold here. And of course, don't forget Boston Uprising versus Toronto Defiant in a few days. Same place right here. Catch it on Twitch, ESPN3, Disney XD, #ad. There you go. It's going to be a fun time, though. Make sure you watch. Now, Shock trying to get their defense going here, but they have to pretty much... I mean, what do you do, right? Spark only needs to take just over the first tick here. It's 53.9% for them to win this map. It's not looking good for San Francisco, but, you know, stranger things have happened.
What I will say about San Francisco is they're very good at playing around Zarya on the high ground, and when Sinatra gets that high ground Zarya automatically on the defense, maybe they can do something with it.
Here we go. Shock needs a monumental hold if they want to win this map. Spark can play it slow. They're under, you know, no rush here. They can do a couple attacks, do a couple pokes, build some ultimates, and then kind of go for it. They can just try to steamroll too. They've got that high ground when they jump down. Let's see if Shock can handle it. Right now, the poke war, trying to build some ult charge, but sending that Diva around to the side. Rhea going to be providing a threat from behind. Providing threat onto the point here as Shock runs up, speed boosted on the high ground. They're going to switch positions. And Spark now looking like the defenders again, and they've won a lot of fights from this position. Rhea trying to build up that ultimate. Already nearly one tick for Hangzhou Spark as Shock comes back in again. Retaking the point. It's a dance. An elaborate dance.
It's a ring around the rosy between the high ground and the point right now, but the tick was taken there, or has not been taken yet, excuse me, by the Spark. They're going to try it one more time.
Yep. All right, they're going to swap again. Shock wanting that high ground drop down advantage. They're going to drop down immediately. Super, though, got to watch out. He's got the ultimate right now, that Earth Shatter online. Spark a little bit split up here.
We're just going to go in circles.
Watch this all day, man. I think
the Shock are just dropping when the Hangzhou Spark are about to take that first tick at 33%.
It's like when the Velociraptors were chasing those kids around in Jurassic Park. Like, they just kept switching positions.
Yeah, except, you know,
the kids escaped. And this time, I don't know. Shock's going to get out of this one alive. Spark coming in. They've got the ultimates now. It's going to be Transcendence first for Shock. They got the rally as well. Rhea knocked down by that Earth Shatter, but not a lot else being done from that Reinhardt ultimate. Spark in prime position to come back on this one. And we'll see if they can finish it off. They're going to the Transcendence. There's another Earth Shatter coming down. Violet taken out by No Smite, got charged. The shield from Lucio a little bit too late, but Shock. Whoa, they're able to swing this run around big time.
They lost track of Sinatra, and Sinatra went up to the high ground, ran all the way around the Spark formation, dropped on them, and then hit them with that Graviton Surge, which just sucked everybody into that point, and he was just dealing crazy damage to them.
After all that, Sinatra cranks out the IQ 400 plays and manages to eventually fake out Spark. So now Spark coming back in. They've still got a couple ultimates to use. Meanwhile, Shock has Super's Earth Shatter again, ready to go. Shock back on the point. I feel like I've seen this before. Oh, but this time they catch Moth. All right, now it's a little bit of a different story. The 6v5 advantage going to Spark for now. And Godsby's got the grab. He's just going to lob it in there. Violet does get the kill on the No Smite, but Choyo been down. Super in a lot of trouble, loses his shield. Not much health left. He has to hide. There's no way he can contribute until he gets healing. Choyo Bin's out of the mech. Super has to get back in there. He got some shield charge back. He's rejoined the fight, but Rascal is down. Now the grab comes in, and Bebe right there with the Transcendence. The Earth Shatter looks scary, but they do have the healing. It doesn't matter, though. Shock still, in the end, able to get the kills they were looking for.
Moth made
what a crazy fight.
And the Trance actually didn't come into the Graviton. They managed to get supports. The Spark supports caught in the Graviton and killed them before the Trance came in from Bebe. And all of a sudden, Shock might actually do this.
We said it's possible. It wasn't likely, but it is possible. Just 10 seconds left for Shock to hold to win this map and tie up the series. Hangzhou Spark, desperation mode as they try to get on there. Godsby nearly has his Graviton Surge though. Oh, but IDK down though. Violet with a huge pick. Spark has to fight it 5v6. And the grab, ready to go for Godsby. He gets stunned though. Godsby in trouble. No Smite down already. This grab has to be huge. Choyobin throws in the self-destruct. No kills, but it's a sound barrier on the side of Shock to keep them in the game, and they are getting the kills to close this one out. I cannot believe it. One of the greatest holds I have ever seen in Overwatch. San Francisco Shock somehow managed to do it. They will win Hollywood and tie this series up.
Shock woke up at the end there. I think they realized they were sort of on autopilot. They made some really interesting plays to actually pull out that map win.
I saw Moth wiping his brow at the end of that one. That is a stressful round to go through, but they did it. We're in for a great series. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.